Hello, welcome to another edition of Talking Basketball Podcast. I am Mark.
I am Paul. Hello.
Hello, Paul.
For the third time.
Here.
Hello.
Third time's a charm. Let's try not to pit up this time.
We have a guest.
We have a guest.
A fantastic guest.
Does it get better than this?
It does not get better than this. And I buggered up with this already because I'm turning this down. And this is what throws me because I'm now not concentrating. But we got someone here to talk about the EuroLeague, something no one cares about, Mark.
The what?
Exactly. Look at his face. Look at his face. He wants to punch you right now.
Oh, the EuroLeague basketball.
Here we go. Yeah, now stand and cheer. At center, number 13 and EuroLeague expert, George Milis.
Hello, guys. Thought I'd just come along and educate you.
Third time was lucky.
Yeah, so far.
Given your profession, I've thought of a nickname for you. The antivirus from Cyprus.
Wow.
Kind of rims in. It's close. Not quite rhyming.
Well, for all of our listeners, we have George here today, who is our EuroLeague expert. And for many, many years, George has always mocked me for not knowing the ins and outs of the EuroLeague and what's going on. And again, like I said, it's a kind of a league no one really cares about. A little bit in the UK, which annoys you.
Nobody cares about it in the UK because there's no British teams playing in the EuroLeague. That's pretty much it. So it's quite sad because it's the best league in Europe. It's the second best league in the world. So, you know, I just don't get it.
So it's like BBL then EuroLeague, yeah?
Almost, but not quite.
Yeah.
So the standard is like what you said, the standard is up there.
Yeah, there's a lot of there's a lot of NBA players that move into the EuroLeague. There's a lot of European stars that leave from the EuroLeague to go to the NBA, like Luka Doncic was playing for the Mavericks. He was playing for Real Madrid. He was playing when he was like 16, 17 for Real Madrid. He actually won the EuroLeague with Real Madrid.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
He got MVP as well, didn't he?
Yep.
So would you say a lot of the NBA scouts then are going over for the EuroLeague and just keep an eye on that?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm saying it really a little bit thick here, but again, it's a league that we don't tend to keep an eye on in the UK. Well, from a British perspective.
Pretty much, yeah.
But you're right, it probably is because we don't have representation.
We literally have no foot in it. The closest we've ever come to that is the Euro Cup.
Do you know what? There was a time that British teams were playing in the EuroLeague, but I think that was back in
the 80s.
No, 2000 or just before.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What, the Towers?
Probably. Yeah. I can't remember, to be fair.
Never really got into that sort of like final.
No, it was like literally bottom of the league then teams, so, you know.
Yeah.
So George, what is EuroLeague basketball? What is it? Because you're going to be educating me this episode because I know teams, but I don't know what it is. So educate us.
Okay, so it's a private league, first of all. It's not national. It's not whatever. It's not regulated by FIBA or anything like that. It's a private league, yeah.
Is it invite only, is it?
Sort of. So there's certain teams that they have a license. There's 12 teams that have a license. So every year they will compete in the EuroLeague, whatever position they finish in the local leagues. And they give wildcards to some other teams. So if a team does really well in the National League, they might get a wildcard to perform in the next year's EuroLeague. It's a close league. It is, unfortunately or fortunately. And there's teams from all around Europe. There's Spanish teams, there's the Greek teams, there's Maccabi from Israel, there's a couple of Turkish teams. There used to be CSKA Moscow from Russia, but there's been sanctions over the last 3 years now, so that's off. Lithuanian teams, German teams now as well, couple of Italian ones.
So I
Yeah.
think from our perspective, the ones that we would associate it with instantly would be the Real Madrid and Barcelona.
Yeah, those two are two of the powerhouses.
And Olympios.
No, it's Olympiacos.
Olympios.
And you got to argue, we said this before, Barcelona, best kit. I love the Barcelona kit for basketball.
Why?
I just like it. This thing looks great.
Yeah, it does look good.
And I like the fact that it replicates the football side of things as well.
Well, most teams, they have the same colours, don't they?
Mm.
Because they represent the same club. So at the end of the day, they're going to have to wear the same uniform. Like Real Madrid, they're wearing the white, classic white Real Madrid, whatever.
See, we don't really get that in the UK, though. We don't get... I mean, we don't really get football...
You say that, but the irony is when we started doing this, we were talking about Portsmouth Football Club, or Portsmouth FC Basketball Club, and the club was associated with football. And so back in the 80s, they were, the twinned, so to speak, and then they've broken off. And what colours did they wear in Pompey?
They wore the blue top. I can't remember what shorts they were, if I'm
White,
honest with you.
but it had the red piping, didn't it? Just like the football did.
Oh, wow. So the EuroLeague is a pyramid of one.
Pretty much, yeah.
But if you went amazing, if you had a solid team that was just dominating your country,
You might get a wild
You might
card.
get an invite.
Yeah.
Such as London Lions did this season.
For the EuroLeague?
For the Euro Cup. For the Euro Cup.
So they did get to the semis or quarterfinals.
I think it was
I think it was quarters.
quarters, yeah.
So, yeah, they did quite well.
Yep.
Not well enough to be in the EuroLeague next year.
No, because that's Euro Cup, which is, and I only found this out because I knew George was coming. I thought I don't want to look completely stupid. But the Euro Cup is below.
Yeah. It's the same organisation.
Same organisation,
It's owned
but
by
it's
the same organisation.
Actually,
Yeah.
just a one-off cup sort of thing every year, but it's actually the standard below.
So football terms, we're talking Champions League, UEFA
Right,
Cup.
let's just put this straight though before we got, because it gets a bit confusing.
Look how passionate he is.
It's good.
This
Yeah.
is why we got him. He's a talking basketball podcast EuroLeague expert because he's passionate about it.
So, the best way to describe what the EuroLeague is, when people ask, I just say, is what's the Champions League for football? Same for basketball. But there is a competition, a European competition called Basketball Champions League. That's not, so that was created 5 years ago. I think so. There was a massive beef between FIBA and EuroLeague. So FIBA, just to go against the EuroLeague, they said, right, we're going to create our own Champions League in basketball, and we're going to get the best teams in there. The EuroLeague teams, they're like, no, we're not coming with you. So,
wow.
so there's now the Basketball Champions League, but that's not at the level of EuroLeague.
So we're saying EuroLeague is definitely higher.
EuroLeague is the top level in Europe. And then you get Euro Cup and Basketball Champions League.
Yep.
I don't know which one's higher level-wise. I'm not going to lie. I haven't really watched much of that.
Isn't it one, with those, isn't it ones that any team in the UK, in the BBL could say, yeah, can I come in? And I go, yeah, sure. Is it a bit like that?
So, no, with the Basketball Champions League, it's whatever you qualify in your national league.
But the Euro Cup.
And the Euro Cup as well.
Okay.
So you get places for that for next year's Euro Cup, depending on what you finish on your national league. Not with the EuroLeague though. The EuroLeague is a closed league.
So it's a little bit like, I guess in football terms, a bit like that Super League they were trying to set
pretty
up.
much, yes. Yeah. Without the amount of money that we're doing for that.
Yeah.
Like the EuroLeague money is not.
So
much.
can I just highlight how significant this is? Because once you start looking into it, have you got that clip, Mark, of the volume of the crowd and stuff like that? Because this is the reason, and this is what I love about European basketball, is you get people like Jokic being interviewed by the media and they're saying, oh, you're going to be really intimidated by the fans. And he's like, I played in Europe. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Like, you got, like, basically in America, you're like kittens compared to the atmosphere that you get in Europe, right?
Man, there's certain arenas that you go in and they just throw stuff at you.
Yeah.
Like they might throw coins, lighters, whatever they have. And I know you see that in football stadiums, but it's different if you're in that close, confined environment in a way that a basketball court is. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's a funny one though, isn't it? I'll see if this will come out. If it does blast, I'll delay it a little bit.
Listen how loud that is. That's a football crowd. So who's that? Panathinaikos.
Panathinaikos.
Say that again.
Panathinaikos.
Panathinaikos.
Yeah. So we can call it PAO.
PAO.
PAO, yeah.
Now, we did play that for George earlier, and he did kindly explain roughly the
What are they saying, George?
wording on that, which was interesting.
Pretty much all about getting stoned and celebrating. So, as you do.
But I mean, we would identify that as a really strong football crowd.
Yeah.
Like that sounds to me just like going and watching football. And it always feels like when you get to Europe, that is the atmosphere you get at basketball games. In America, it's the classic
Family.
defense, like let's go Celtics or whatever it is. Let's go. And England are kind of in the middle where you see some British teams and people will be quite loud like that with drums. Nowhere near that.
No.
And then a lot of clubs will have, I want to say, almost silence.
Yeah.
And it's only very few clubs that have the American dun 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 dun. Would you say that's a good summarization of all of that?
So, yeah, pretty much, yeah. I thought you were going to ask what I prefer.
What do you prefer?
Well, I grew up with that. I grew up with the fans just hanging from, the edge of the seats and stuff.
Going nuts.
And just throwing stuff. And
Do you know what? I like the fact you could even leave it there. I grew up with fans. I think that's really the key thing, because a lot of the time you've got people who go into the basketball in the UK and they're still being educated about being a fan.
Yeah.
They don't understand what they're really getting passionate about.
Definitely in the UK. And just put some context to that. I know what you mean by that. It's if I play the Addams Family music.
Yeah.
Da-da-da-dun, da-da-da-dun. But I really have to, in the games in the UK, go da-da-da-dun, defense.
You've got to educate
to
people
try to
about-
get people to say it.
Yeah.
Or hold up signs saying say it. And then when you think about it, you go to America, when they play that, all on the screens, defense, isn't it?
Yeah, they have to be shown this is what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
Whereas the funny thing is, if they could only just connect with, hey, when you go to the football and you go to Fratton Park and you're shouting and screaming and chanting, it's like, just do that at the basketball.
Pretty much, yeah, yeah.
There's a saying, and I don't think this is offensive. Someone will right, Mark, snowflake warning.
Yeah.
Snowflake warning.
Give us a snowflake warning.
I can't see what I'm pressing.
That's a good one.
Snowflake warning. I think the saying is America gets a cold and we sneeze.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I personally, I don't feel we have an
Is that
identity.
it? Is that the thing to get worried about?
You never know nowadays. But it was you throw me. It's almost like we haven't got our own identity because we're bang in the middle as how fans should act. And because as English, unless there's alcohol involved, we're quite reserved, I think.
I 100% agree with that. 100% agree.
If they got bars there, I think you'd get the football crowd come out.
100%. If you could just get them there, that would make such a difference. I'm going to jump on the back of your segue quickly to jump back into what George was saying about the names. Because you just said about someone's identity. FIBA era of the EuroLeague was from 1958 to 1991. And it was originally called the FIBA European Champions Cup. That's what the competition was called. Then they changed the name to call it the FIBA European League EuroLeague for like 5 years. Then went a bit weird and just called it FIBA EuroLeague. Okay. Then they called it the FIBA Supro League for 1 year. 2000 to 2001.
That was my favourite year, yeah.
Supro year. And that, as George said, is when they split. So they split from FIBA, and there was actually quite a big disagreement about that. And when they did do that, it then became the EuroLeague Basketball as the main owners, and it became the EuroLeague for 16 years. and now they call it EuroLeague, but the difference is the L is a capital. So it's still called EuroLeague. It's just a capital L. It sounds really silly, but it's because I think they've changed the formation of it as a company or the structures or whatever. But that's why it's got so much more money in it than almost any of the other places, because you have to buy a ticket. You have to be good enough to always be in it.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And the money that goes into those places, you got like in
Pau. Just say Pau.
In Pau. In Pau, I'm going to butcher that. In Pau, they've got like Kendrick Nunn, for example.
Yeah.
You don't get a player like that cheap.
No, I think it cost like 2 million for 9 months or something like that.
Exactly.
The top player is the most, top paid player for Panathinaikos now is Slukas. He's a Greek fella, Kostas Slukas, and I think he's signed for 3 or 3.3 million a year. That's pretty much the top that you get for EuroLeague. So it doesn't compare to the NBA. It doesn't compare to European football, but it's better than whatever other leagues pay.
Again, if you're in the BBL and you're on a contract for 30 grand a year, and someone says, "Hey, do you want 3 mil?" You're gone.
Yeah. I don't know of any players that left the BBL though to go to Europe. They probably went to Eurocup or Basketball Champions League, but I wouldn't.
Yeah.
So, do you have a favourite team, or as our
I think that was obvious
EuroLeague
by now.
expert, you wear green?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's not that I'm very biased when it comes to the EuroLeague. Like very, very biased.
Who is the best team in the EuroLeague, George?
The one that have won 6 times.
And who's that? Pau.
It's a Greek team. Yeah.
So how are they doing at the moment?
So they qualified for the Final Four for the first time since 2012.
Yeah, 12 years.
Yeah, we had a bit of a dry.
That's a dry decade.
Yeah, pretty much. It was the owners left and there was no money in, and if you don't put money in, you don't get good players, you're not going to qualify.
No.
Pretty much. So.
But you're up against defending champions?
No, we're playing against Fenerbahce, which is a Turkish team, in the semi-final.
That's who you're up against in the semis?
Yeah. So,
I knew a guy who used to support this. I've got a little beanie hat of that team. I never realised that's what he was giving me for. I got a beanie hat for Pau Basketball Club at home. There you go.
Yeah, he's insane.
So you're playing Turkey.
One of the good things about the EuroLeague, I think, even though a lot of coaches disagree, they still do a Final Four format. So you might play the whole year, finish top of the league, win every single game, and then you go in the Final Four and it's one game for the semi-final.
Yeah, that's good.
And if you don't play good that game, even though you've beat everyone up the previous games, you're out. That's it. It's a knockout game. And it's been often that the first team, the team that finished first in the regular season, doesn't win the EuroLeague because they just had a bad game in the semi-final or a bad game in the final. And, last year, it was Olympiacos last year. They were playing pretty well, which is, hard for me to admit, but still. They went to the final. They were up pretty much the whole game. And in the very last minute, Real Madrid, who was the other finalist, they just, I think it was Sergio Llull, a Spanish fella. He just threw the ball like it was a shot, but it was a very, very weird shot. One of them that you're like, that's not going to go in.
A prayer.
Yeah, pretty much. It went in and they won by a point. Real Madrid won by 1 point. So,
I love the idea about that. And I think you saw it with the in-season tournament with the NBA. They're trying to get some of that knockout basketball.
Make every game actually count.
Yeah.
That's actually the logo of EuroLeague. Every game matters.
Oh, is it?
It is, yes.
And that is probably something from a British perspective, British basketball, we could really relate to. You have
100%.
tournaments like the FA Cup where it is those knockout rounds. So that is definitely something from a British perspective we could identify with and go, that's good. You saying that was the first thing I thought, oh, that sounds good. It's knockout basketball. It's not a 7-game series where you can lose your first 2 games and then still come back and win the series.
You
and
can just go back and win the other 2 games. So
this is huge.
So
on the
Panathinaikos-
24th, 25th, this is huge. Real Madrid taking on Olympiacos.
So the other semi-final will be Real Madrid, Olympiacos. Yeah,
Olympiacos.
which
And was
is
that
a
semi
replay.
last
No,
year?
it was
Or
the final last year. So it's just
So
round
Olympiacos
2.
have been. This is the 3rd straight Final Four
Yes.
that Olympiacos have been in. Real Madrid are top seeded, and it's their 3rd straight Final Four as well. And they've got in the league a 27-7 record.
yes, they've pretty much started the league this year, and they played about 10 or 12 games unbeaten, which is very rare in the EuroLeague because you play games.
You're playing big teams. Every game's a huge team, isn't it?
And you play home and away, obviously. If it was just home games, the first 12 games, then
So
it
where's the Final Four then? That's not home or away?
Germany.
it's in Berlin this year. So they pick a different location every year. It was in Lithuania last year, I think.
So Panathinaikos have been there for 12 years. Didn't butcher it that time. Got better. But Fenerbahce have been in there 5 years since they've been in Final Four.
Yes, so
So
you get EuroLeague legends.
yeah,
One of the EuroLeague coaches
yeah.
was, a lot of people would say he's the best coach in the EuroLeague. That has been the best coach in the EuroLeague. Is Obradovic. He's Serbian. He was, again, here comes the bias part. He was the coach of Panathinaikos for 12 years.
Oh.
From 2000 until 2012. And he won 4 EuroLeague trophies.
Wow.
No, 5 EuroLeague trophies with Panathinaikos. So he was coaching Fenerbahce. That's why they were doing quite good. They've put a lot of money as well. So they were in the Final 4 5 years ago, and that was the last time when he left. He just left the club.
Oh.
Like his contract finished, he left. So he's coaching in Serbia now. He's coaching Partizan. If you see videos of Partizan, that's worse than the Panathinaikos ones in terms of volume and just everyone going nuts.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So
Oh, wow. So what do you think their chances are then? Being completely biased.
for
I have no
Panathinaikos,
problem with our EuroLeague basketball expert being biased. Do
No,
you,
I've
Mark?
got no problem with that at all.
No problem at
But
all.
do you think Panathinaikos would actually take that game?
against Fener.
Because that's who they're matched up with. It's better than being matched up with Real.
Well,
isn't it?
if they win that game, the game's on Friday.
Yep.
If they win that, they go to the final on
On
Sunday,
yeah.
in which they will play either Real Madrid or Olympiacos, whoever wins from the other game.
Probably Real.
Hopefully Real.
Really? So why not Olympiacos?
I'd like an all-Greek final.
Yeah. So
you
just
can't
explain to us. Explain to us what. So
Can I just say the trophy looks awesome?
it does look
It
good,
looks
doesn't it?
great. I really like the trophy.
So where did your love for the team come from then?
That's massive as well. That's like torso, isn't it?
I've
a nice big
I've got
trophy.
a picture with that somewhere.
What? You've
Oh.
seen it?
Fun fact: the EuroLeague Final 4 was in London in 2012.
Did anyone turn up?
Well, I did. And
I don't think I
they
knew
said-
you then, did I?
you know what?
Yeah, I did.
I'm going to
I
put
did
the
know.
tumbleweed thing right in there.
No, you didn't.
Just hit the tumbleweed one. I'm going to put it in there. Yeah, that's going to go in there when we asking who turned up. Just
Who
George.
turned up?
Just George. It was like the whole stadium,
And George.
and George just sat there on his own.
So, funny story in regards to who turned up. I wanted to get tickets for that Final 4 because,
There'd have been loads available in the UK.
well, there was still about £300+. So
Oh,
I
really?
thought, do you know what? Panathinaikos didn't qualify for that one. So I thought, I'm going to leave it. I'm not going to go. A week before the Final 4, I get an email from BBL. And they're selling tickets. The tickets that will cost me £300, they were selling them for a tenner.
Oh, God.
Because it was that... they got to a point, they were like, shit, it's going to be
No
empty.
one's going.
Yeah. And I got like 4 tickets for my mates and stuff, and we all won there. I mean, it's good basketball. It's a good game. It's not something that you're just gonna go there and get bored or whatever. And they've got all the activities beforehand. They had like outdoor basketball players in the streets, and it's a really fun day to go to.
I know what you're saying. I'm playing a little bit of possum a little bit when I say I haven't seen some of the European basketball. I mean, this is world-class basketball. Is what we're talking about. However, like EuroLeague around Europe, that's televised everywhere.
Yes, every single country in Europe will probably broadcast that.
And this is just my feeling on it, but the reason you got tickets going from £300 to £10 is because very little basketball is televised over here.
Yes.
You want to watch, like we want to watch a basketball game, we're going on YouTube to watch it live.
Yeah.
Do you know the easiest thing to watch in the UK for a long time was Basketball Bundesliga?
What's the basketball? The German one.
Yeah.
Was it?
Basketball Bundesliga was always on.
The German league.
Always on Eurosport in the UK. Always on. And you're like...
But Eurosport, you have to pay a subscription.
But you didn't used to. It used to be free if you had like cable or NTL and stuff like that. But Eurosport was in there. And so because of that, that's the only way you could get any access to it. And it was always Basketball Bundesliga. That's always... It wasn't...
George,
Spain,
I couldn't sleep once. And on Sky Sports News, they did 45 minutes on darts. 45 minutes on darts, which arguably isn't a sport. Is it? Have I just upset a few people there?
I'm all right with that.
Throwing a couple of sticks at a wall.
Yeah, I mean, I think
but I got irritated watching 45 minutes of darts because I was just like...
How many darts can you throw in 45 minutes?
I get it with football. It's the national sport. I get it. Rugby, okay, cricket, tennis. When you get into darts, I'm like, come on, put the basketball on. Yeah. But that's why you're not having it.
There was the European qualifiers about 6 months ago, maybe even longer. And the UK was playing against Greece it was here. I can't remember where. I think it was Birmingham or Manchester or whatever.
Yeah.
And I was looking on the TV on everything, even with paid subscriptions, Sky and BT and everything. And no one was showing the game. Your national team is playing and no one is bothered to show the game and they're showing darts or whatever.
Yeah, it's embarrassing, isn't it?
And
you have
I just don't get it.
Sky Sports Arena or stuff like that. And you do think when these games are played, it's usually a Friday night. Definitely the BBL games, a lot of that Friday, Saturday night. And I look at it and think, 7:45 on a Saturday night, like Friday night, that's a great time to have like a slot for basketball.
Yeah.
And there is so much basketball. We've struggled to keep up with it because there's so much that we try to watch.
Yeah, and they'll put it on the games like within half an hour of each other. And I don't have 10 TVs to watch all of them going on at the same time.
But it's that, I think that is why. And you know what the ridiculous thing about that is? Basketball is one of the highest played sports at youth level in the country.
Yeah.
So I think you need the media side of it to catch up with where the rest of the country is.
Definitely, because you just get the NBA promoted here and you see all these kids that they just grab the ball and just off they go, 5-on-1.
3-point line.
Yeah, just shoot.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter if you don't hit anything, does it? Well, it does. And that's the problem with EuroLeague. I personally find it that there's more basketball played there rather than just individual skills, let's say. Because in the NBA you only get one LeBron James, you only get one Kevin Durant, you only get one Steph Curry. It's not everybody can shoot from half court line and score. And these kids, they see that. I'm like, Steph Curry did that. I'm just going to go and do the same thing. It doesn't work like that. You need to teach them how to play the game. You need to teach them how to dribble the ball, how to pass the ball, how to defend. Like there's no defense in the NBA apart from very few players. That's why Giannis was best defender for a few years, because he grew up in Greece. He started playing in Greece, so he got those fundamentals of defense in his routine that we have to play defense as well. And then he ended up being a freak, like massive and strong and everything, so he can do the stuff that he does in the front court. But you need to know how the game's played all around, and that's what I like about the EuroLeague. There's more set plays, there's more passing game, there's more of a team rather than just give the ball to the superstar and let them do what they do.
And that's what I love about in the summertime when you get some of the NBA teams going on tour, especially when they always turn up. One of the teams always goes through Barcelona, Real Madrid, and they're the games that are like, let's go. Because the European teams are going, I'm going for this. I don't know if the NBA players would be going with that attitude, but definitely. Well, who was it last year? Barcelona took on.
No, this year there was.
Was it Phoenix? Was it?
There was Real Madrid against. Where's Doncic playing?
Dallas.
Yeah, against Dallas, and Real Madrid won.
Yep.
So
wasn't that in Dubai? They played somewhere.
No, it was in Spain.
Oh, that one.
Yeah.
Oh, of course. Yeah. They did that one, but they did one in Dubai as well. They had some teams and they were flying people in and out.
I wonder how switched on the Americans are. When they turn up for the NBA team, turn up for Europe, if they're like, this is just a friendly, we're just going through things. I don't know. That's kind of the impression I have.
When you see the European players like Luka, like Jokic, for example, there was an interview for Aaron Gordon today, or from the previous game, and they were saying to him, Aaron Gordon, everyone's considered you for the last couple of years one of the most unselfish players. He went, yeah, because of Joker, because he is so unselfish. He's all about everyone. I'm seeing where everyone's going. I'm passing. I'm making assists. I'm moving the ball. People look at Luka, same thing, highest points this season, but he's also one of the highest for assists and helping everyone. And it's like all the European players. Wemby, same thing. It's like the whole team gets raised up by that standard, whereas American ball is free ball.
Yeah, it's just run and gun.
And that's why people like Anthony Edwards so much, but they don't realise that Anthony Edwards is exactly the same. I mean, he's a superstar in himself, but he's also, the first thing he does is, let's credit that guy because he came off the bench and hit 6 points when we needed him to. And he'll lift everyone up and say, come and play to my level. And that's what makes a difference, whereas there's not many of those players in America. Most of the players in EuroLeague, their best players are all national to the teams,
Pretty
aren't
much, yes, yeah.
Wow, look at this. The EuroLeague is one of the most popular indoor sports leagues in the world. Average attendance of just under 9,000 for every league match. And it was the 5th highest of any professional indoor sports league in the world outside of the America, obviously. 2nd highest of any professional basketball league in the world.
Yeah.
Only behind the NBA.
Huge.
So with
second
Panathinaikos
highest,
this year,
I would say the only thing I'd throw at that is in Adelaide, it was just under 10,000 for a home game again, and it was like bottom v 4th.
So
that's maybe is that for one team though?
For one team, yeah.
Okay, so that's the average for all teams. There's some arenas in Europe that they can only fit 10,000.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
That's the average.
Yeah.
So they actually had the average attendance
14 or 15,000 or something crazy like that. It's huge. I think there's 2 teams that one's like 7,000 and one's 9,000 or something, but the rest of them, they're the ones that have dropped the average.
So the Portsmouth Force could get into this, and our 500 attendance would be okay.
I mean, it would just be like pick your favourite seats. Everyone get the favourite seats they want.
George would be there front row.
I don't know what my favourites. If you said you could sit anywhere in a stadium, actually, where you'd want to sit, just seeing what those crowds were like, I don't know where I'd want to sit.
Row A, seat 1.
I don't know. I think you kind of want to be partly in the middle of it.
Yeah, front row.
You can use the courtside seats.
Courtside,
just be in the game.
Anyone courtside?
I don't know, because being part, you seeing some of those crowds where everyone is going for it.
Oh yeah, that's the one thing you got to say. A bit like being VIP, everyone looks at who's in VIP.
But you're detached a little bit when you're in some of those front seats.
You can't jump up and down. When they're all jumping up and down.
If you're in that crowd,
you're
not fussed about what's going on in the court.
Oh
really?
No, they're more concerned about, we need to shout louder. we need to. What are we going to sing next? What are we going to chant next? That's the priority, and obviously celebrate when a basket goes in. So I've never been in that part of that. I've been in Panathinaikos games, but I've never actually gone in that side.
So I've got a question.
Section 13 or something.
Favorite basketball chant, George?
There's no point telling you because it's going to be in Greek.
Yeah, do you have one though? And is it for Pal?
Yeah. Yeah, but it's just Panathinaikos, so yeah. I can't think now, so
So
we'll just skip that for now.
So is Olympiacos, are they the
rivals?
They are the rival.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. They literally kill each other. The
A
fans
great team.
have in the past killed each
Really?
other. Yeah. There's
What?
been-
Is that
He
a
just said
saying?
They're a great
No,
team.
no. There's people that have
You
been
didn't hear
murdered.
that.
He didn't.
What? So they're like this is real football nutter level.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
I like Powell, George. Powell.
So how did you come to, what's your basketball journey, George, of getting to that stage of loving EuroLeague?
it wasn't about the EuroLeague. It's about just growing up in Cyprus, and Cypriot teams, they're not at that level.
No.
So everybody in Cyprus will have a Greek team to
Oh,
support.
really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
Did you have a local league team that you supported?
yeah, we got the Cypriot league, but it's not
And
EuroLeague level.
did you support? Who was the local team that you supported?
That's
there?
just my local team. So
Oh, cool.
yeah,
What's your local team called?
it's the Paralimni team,
Paralimni.
Paralimni Basketball Club.
There
Yeah,
you go.
Nice shout out
So-
to them.
So
next
you-
to Ayanapa. That's all you need to know. So
There we go. Well,
if
that's
we're
all right.
talking like say like the great your all-time great teams, you got Powell. What was the second one you said? One where you lived,
Paralimni.
and then like Portsmouth Fury, and then like an NBA team.
I'm not really. I know you hate me. I'm not into the NBA.
All right, so top three is kind of set in stone.
Pretty much, yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. The NBA just changes depending on players. Like now, I support the Bucks because of Giannis.
Yeah.
Um,
Anthanasis, of course. Great player.
let's not go.
George,
What? Come on.
I got to put some weight for our
Listen,
listeners
I
here.
respect that Giannis is actually put in his contract. Look, if you're going to take me, you got to take my brother.
Thanasis was playing for Panathinaikos, and he was actually quite decent because he's a good defender.
He's just big, strong. Everyone jokes about it because he's not very consistent at scoring, but he's a big dude.
Yeah.
He's a big
And
dude.
he's full of energy. He'll go in and he'll just do it. Like whatever you want him to do, he'll just go and do it.
Well, I think it was on the Pat Beverley podcast. He actually said, they were saying, what do you think of Thanasis? And he said, he's like the best teammate because he's so positive and he's on the bench and he's absolutely willing everyone on and just got such a spirit.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
you go, that's amazing. But he even got a sneaker deal because his brother got a
Oh,
sneaker
what?
deal.
What's a sneaker? What's a sneaker?
Not Mars, the other one.
Basketball shoes. Right, George, you said Power is the best team in the world. Are they?
Panathinaikos.
Are they?
Are they the best team in the world?
In your mind or in reality? I've got a thing that they're ranked 5th.
In what?
Teams that count more than 300 games in modern history of European basketball. So Barcelona top, then one of your second favourite teams, Olympiacos, and then Moscow, Baskonia, which you got in 2 weeks.
No. Baskonia got knocked out.
Oh,
They're gone.
and then Pau.
So your list is probably relating to the last 10, 15
10 years,
years.
yeah.
That's why. Because as I've mentioned earlier, Panathinaikos was not doing good for the past 10 years.
Why was that?
Money. Just stop
Really?
putting money. Yeah. The owner just stopped putting money in,
Oh, wow. Simple as that.
pretty much.
And then
yeah.
this year they've just,
This year, he just said, we'll get it, every player. Like any player. I don't know why. I don't know. I'm not his accountant, so...
Look, I have got something to add in fairness to George.
Real Madrid are the most.
EuroLeague highest ranked is Pau with 4
Panathinaikos.
EuroLeague titles. Is that right?
No, that's probably after 2000.
Yeah, Real Madrid have got 11.
So
this is all after 2000. I'm trying to modern it. This is after 2000. They've got 4.
Yeah.
And then the nearest team is Moscow with 3, Tel Aviv 3, your second favorite team Olympiacos 2, Barcelona 2, Real Madrid 1. Everyone else is on 1.
Real Madrid doesn't have one. Real Madrid won like 2 or 3 between 2010 and 2020.
This is fake news, George. Can I say this website is BS then?
Where are you looking?
Eurohoops.net.
Okay.
The most successful club in the competition to date with 11 titles is
It's
Real Madrid.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
As
Panathinaikos
of
has
2023.
So Panathinaikos has 6. CSKA Moscow has 6. I think Maccabi.
So what happened to Moscow?
Yeah,
Sorry
what's going
about
on?
him.
They
with
just
the
got kicked
Russians?
out.
It literally was simple as that,
Yeah,
wasn't it?
yeah.
Is that because of the whole
Yeah.
Ukraine thing?
Yeah, with the Putin.
And
thingy,
because
whatever.
there was also the one in the Euro Cup, and I think it was one of the EBL games.
There
Someone was playing against an Israeli team, and they were like, "Yeah, we can't." Obviously, because of everything going on there, they went, "You're
That's
out."
difficult. I mean, that's
That's interesting, isn't it? When you got obviously civil wars. No one comes out of that winning. Quite frankly, it's sad
And-
stuff. But
it's the one thing
the whole team gets pulled.
I think I'd say wise to stay away from all the politics and stuff like that.
Yeah.
However, the one thing I do think about basketball, it's something that brings people together, where it's, race, religion, whatever. Where you're playing a sport together, you're supporting teams together.
A lot of the sports
So-
do, don't they? They've done it with the football games, haven't they?
There's
to
a
certain
part
points,
of
and-
that which makes me go, okay, should they still be playing? Because that's still creating an attachment where humans are bonding together. To
Well,
go,
In regards
screw
to
it,
the Russian
you're out.
teams, did the players do anything wrong?
No.
no, exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Did the fans do anything wrong? Probably not, most of them anyway. But it's part of the sanctions,
Yeah.
we're going to punish the country for whatever's happening. I'm not getting into that.
Yeah.
And with Maccabi Tel Aviv this year, so he was actually playing against Panathinaikos in the playoffs. It only finished last week, the playoff series for that. They had to play their games in Serbia, in an empty court, because it wasn't safe for any other team to travel to Israel for a basketball game, because you never know what's going to happen with the current situation. So
Yeah, and it's interesting. It's almost like, again, I don't want to get involved in the politics, but it's almost like one rule for one team, another rule for another team. Like, yeah, you're not allowed to play, but you can play, but you got to play it somewhere else. It's a bit like
I like it where they did it with the Olympics a few years back, and they had that with when Russia were first excluded from it, and then they had a lot of the athletes who were like, "Test me all you want, I'm good," and then they went on to be represented by their own like state of one, effectively.
okay,
And then you had, I think they created like not a federation, but it was like the Olympic something or other. And then there was all the countries where there was just one person or one representative. They all became just this one unit of things.
yeah.
And it was countries that had civil wars and all that sort of stuff that all just sort of joined together.
I wonder if you could.
Which is quite a nice way to do it, because you go, like you said, the athletes shouldn't be penalised. The fans shouldn't be penalised just because of other things going on. It just seems wrong, doesn't it?
Yeah, and I get it. I do get it, but there is also a part of me that, again, go back to what I just said. Sport is something that brings us all together.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think that's a shame.
Why not Olympiacos? Why did you not choose them? How did you get?
Look
to
at the disgust on his
how
face.
did you get to Panathinaikos?
Family, I guess.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Mark, he just looked at you like, how dare you ask me that question?
Right. When I was growing up, on my defense,
Yeah.
and Olympiacos fans are going to hate me for this, but sorry. In regards to football,
Yeah.
Olympiacos was not a very clear team, let's say.
Okay.
They were getting some, push
Okay.
from the referees. And yeah,
They're biased.
they weren't biased. They were
Like-
just buying the caps and stuff.
Oh, okay.
Pretty much.
like Man City, just buying everything they want, that kind of thing.
Not buying players, buying referees.
Oh, buying the rest.
Yeah.
They're cheating, you mean?
Buying results.
Yeah.
That is
Scandalous,
accusation.
George. Scandalous.
I'll show you a video at some point that you can see. It's football, but some of the things that you see, you're like,
So
how
we
the-
can show you videos of the NBA. You can see that now.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
So yeah, if you support Panathinaikos, you can't support Olympiacos and vice versa. I mean, there's the healthy fans, I guess, that
Yeah.
you're like, oh, it's another Greek team, so we want them to win. And there's the other fans that are like, no. We don't care who they're playing against. We support who they're playing against.
So was it, I won't say predestined that you were going to be Panathinaikos?
Depends. I'd say in Cyprus it's about 40% Panathinaikos, 40% Olympiacos, and the rest just the other Greek teams. So yeah, they were the main two teams in the 90s where I was growing up. So.
Now, see, I think that's quite important, because what you're hitting on there really, George, is that they are like we've said before, if there was a BBL team, for example, here in Portsmouth, we'd all go and support them and watch them because it's localized basketball. But if your basketball that is local to you is not at that high level, you then have to go. You've said it before about the football. You used to have like a local league team that I'd support Portsmouth, but then in the Premiership I'd have my own team that I'd support, which would be someone else. So that's the same thing that you do there.
Pretty much, yeah.
But we don't do that in the UK for the BBL at all. People just don't.
It's weird. Like I was talking to some teams in Southampton, and I was like, "Why don't you support a BBL team?" And they're like, "I'm supporting." I wish I could appreciate you're supporting your home teams. Like that's fine. But yeah, can I just say, just to highlight something you just said, I've got a great table of ranked teams based on this season and last season, and the only UK ranked team that is in there, this is looking at EuroLeague and Euro Cup, is the London Lions that are currently ranked 32nd from EuroLeague.
Okay, that's not bad.
And that's based on, because you must get some kind of European point scheme every time you get a win in Europe. So they've got enough points now that they're ranked 32nd with both those leagues. George, where's Powell in this?
On that league?
On this, in the last 3 seasons, where are they?
Well, last season they finished, not last, but one before the end. They
That's
were
such
really,
a nice way of putting it.
Mate, they were
disappointed last
really,
season.
yeah, they didn't do any good last season. But this year they signed 12 players. They've literally signed a whole new team. Is that the last season's?
No, that's the rankings I'm showing you there. That's
so they finished 17th
the last
season. Yeah. I'm not
3
surprised.
seasons.
Yeah. But this year they finished second on the league on the regular season. They've beat Real Madrid in Spain. They've done the most away wins since the new format of EuroLeague, where everyone plays against everyone. Before 2014, I think it was 2014, there was a group stage situation like the Euros, for example, and you just go into a group of 4, a group of 6. I can't remember what it was now. So you only play against certain teams. You wouldn't play against everyone. And for the last 8 years or so, and again, can't remember, everybody plays against everyone. It's like a league now, like a proper league. Everyone will play against
home
each
and
other.
away.
Yes. Yeah.
How does that affect like the season then? Because this is a league, and you got your Euro League and you've got your domestic league.
Yep.
That's a lot of basketball.
So the EuroLeague games are usually on a Thursday or a Friday. National leagues are Saturday and Sunday, and a lot of countries will have games on Monday now. So if a team's playing a EuroLeague game on a Friday night, they'll play the National League game on a Monday. And it's a lot of games for European players. Like, we're not talking about the NBA here. So a lot of them will get injuries. They'll get injured. They just get exhausted. But there's a lot more basketball, as you said. So it's good for the fans. It's good for the product. It's better than what it used to be, I'd say. And you get weeks that you get double games. So a team will play on a Tuesday and a Thursday, and then again the other teams, half the teams will play Tuesday, Wednesday, and then the other half will play Tuesday, Thursday, and then Wednesday, Friday. So there's certain teams that will have 3 or 4 games in a week, which again,
that's great.
NBA standards.
Yeah.
But the players are not NBA players. But as a fan, I love it when there's a double week. It's brilliant because you can just watch more games.
So that's like 34 games, 36 games in the EuroLeague.
That's domestic. And then double that.
And then double it again. So
Yeah.
that's 72. I mean, you're not far off an NBA season, are you really? That's 82.
Pretty much, yeah. There's 18 teams now in the EuroLeague. So yeah, that's 34 games, depending on how many in your national league. But then with the EuroLeague, you finish you finish the regular season.
Yep.
And then you go into playoffs. And that's a best of 5 series.
Yep.
So out of the 4 pairs that was in the playoffs now, 3 of them went in a 5th game. So those teams, they've played 5 extra. Apart from Real Madrid just beat 3-0 against Baskonia, so they just get their rest.
I've just seen this stat as well, which is a little harsh. So when did the whole Ukraine thing kick off? That was like 2022, is it? Up until 2019, Moscow looked like they're a force to be reckoned with. Like from the whole, I don't know what you'd say, the teens, from like 2011 to 2019, they're one of the highest ranked teams for that 10-year period.
Yeah, they won the EuroLeague twice.
So it's massive for them not to be in this.
Yeah. And they're complaining now, again, what we were saying earlier, in terms of why are we out and the others are not. And they've got a point.
Yeah, they have got a point.
But leave them out. No. More chances for us to win.
More chance for Pau. So I'll tell you what, I want to know about the teams in the league. So let's go through these teams. So, hang on, let me get this back up. So we got the Final Four coming up.
Yeah.
On the 24th, 25th. I love that. It's like college, US college, NCAA tournament style.
It's the same as the NCAA Final Four, pretty much. So yeah,
one loss and you go home.
Pretty much, yes.
So you got Real Madrid.
Yeah,
and that seems to be last year's champions.
Yes,
and I think I'll phrase this. I'll let you disagree or agree with it. A consistent force in the EuroLeague.
Definitely. In the last 6 to 8 years, yes, definitely. They've been. You've mentioned that it's their 3rd Final Four. I think it's more. I think they've been in more over the last few years. They were in the final when the EuroLeague was in London in 2013, when I mentioned earlier.
Oh, it's their 3rd straight.
Did they skip one then?
Might have done.
Yeah, okay.
But I think this is their 3rd straight. And it was the 3rd straight for Olympiacos as well.
Yeah.
Whereas Fenerbahce is 5 years back.
Yeah.
And what was Pau again?
2012.
What I love about the EuroLeague, I know this is like a really mundane fact, but I love it when you see it in international teams. And from what I can see, there's a couple of teams that really highlight this. Is when you win the EuroLeague, you get one of those stars on your jersey above the badge. I love that.
Well, it depends. Some teams don't do that. Panathinaikos does that.
Yeah,
Panathinaikos
so they've got
has 6 stars.
Yeah, I can see it above the logo, above the crest.
Yeah, that's cool. I like that.
I love that idea. Well, you see it with like English football.
Yeah.
We've got 1 star from 66, and if we ever won, we'd get it again. But definitely dominating in international football, you see that, and it was one of the really striking things I saw straight away with Pau was the stars. I love that. But there's some other teams, Belgrade, they do it. I'm not even going to attempt. There's 2 teams from Belgrade. Is that right?
Yes. There's Partizan, and we used to call it Red Star. Now it's Servina I can say it.
I can say it. It's Zavina Zvezda
something like
Mali
that.
Debet Belgrade.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
It used to be Red Star Belgrade. It was in the football.
I'd probably change it because I'm not going to say that. It's not what you were thinking. I was going to say something else. Right. Okay. So Real Madrid, dominant force. So who else we got from Spain? Barcelona.
So the
best kit.
Here we go again.
Best kit.
I don't know why you like the Barcelona kit. It's not that good.
It's unique. You don't normally see stripes in basketball. It's a bit like the Milton Keynes Breakers. They have this white and red stripe. And I love it because it's really unique. You don't see many stripes.
Olympiacos has a white and red stripe, but yeah. That's
why you don't like it, the Barcelona, because it reminds you of the stripes?
No, I just don't like the colours. And I don't like the Spanish teams very well.
But Barcelona, again, over the years, a dominant force?
Yes. Not as successful as Real Madrid, though.
Okay.
So Barcelona, the last time Barcelona won was in 2010.
Okay.
That's the last time they won the EuroLeague. They have been in the Final Four since, but they're a bit of a loser team.
Okay.
They just go there and just don't achieve. So
they're a loser team.
they are. Yeah. if you go there all these times and then you don't get anything out of it.
At least they got there, George. Just saying. 12 years.
But I mean, who's the guy who used to play for in the NBA? I think he's retired and gone back to Barcelona. I think.
Pau Gasol.
Yeah.
Yeah, he played for Barcelona. He's very last
I
year.
think he's talking about Ricky Rubio.
No. Well, both.
He's playing as well this year.
Yeah,
Ricky
yeah.
Rubio. They got kicked out, Barcelona, this year by Olympiacos. So in the EuroLeague Game 5, for the last 18 games, 18 series, let's say, no one has ever beat a Game 5 in an away court. And this year, 2 teams did it. So Fener, the Turkish team, it was playing against Monaco. They were playing in France, in Monaco, and they won. So Fener qualified for the Final Four. And then Olympiacos was playing against Barcelona in Barcelona, and they won Game 5.
Oh, wow.
So it's the first time in ever.
Is that the kit you like?
It's a striking kit. Look at the disgust on his face when he sees that kit. We won't say who it was. Okay, so they're the Spanish teams. You got German teams, FC Bayern Munich, again, heavily related to the football team, same thing.
Yes, but not with the same financial status.
Okay.
So, yeah.
And then you've got Berlin.
Alba Berlin.
Alba
the other
Berlin.
German one, yeah. You've skipped 2 Spanish teams, by the way. There's Baskonia as well, which they've been in the EuroLeague every year ever since I remember. And you usually get Malaga as well, but I don't think they were in this year. So with the Spanish teams, you got Real Madrid and Barcelona, but you also have Baskonia and Valencia, and occasionally they usually change Malaga and Valencia.
So a quarter of the teams are Spanish.
Pretty much, yes, yeah,
And Baskonia Vitoria is up in Vitoria, I'm guessing.
probably.
I know Vitoria. I've been to Vitoria.
I believe to Vitoria.
No, I don't speak Spanish, but I've been to Vitoria. But I know that Valencia is Valencia, isn't it? I know that much.
All right, let's go. So let's go back to the Germans. We got Berlin and Bayern Munich.
Yep. Not great contenders. Bayern has been a decent team over the last few years, but nowhere near qualifying for the Final Four. They've actually signed, do you remember Serge Ibaka?
Yeah.
He's playing for Bayern Munich now.
Oh.
Yeah, as of this year. He's not 100 years old, but, he's not fit enough to play in the NBA, I guess. So that's why he looked elsewhere. You get the French teams, Villeurbanne there, that's where Wemby started from. And
Okay, that's where he's come from.
yeah, and then he left that team because he didn't get enough playing time. He went to another team that was lower level just to play more, and then he just joined the NBA.
Oh, wow. So in the EuroLeague, he wasn't getting the game time, and
No.
by going down, it's had a huge impact
Don't
on his
forget how
career.
old he is
Yeah.
and how skinny he was. Like, he's
Yeah.
put on muscle now, some anyway. You get Monaco, which is in Monaco. They've got money over the last few years. They've actually have the EuroLeague's top scorer, ever scorer, Mike James. So he's been playing in the EuroLeague for a few years now. He's American, obviously, and as of this year, he's the EuroLeague's history top scorer.
Oh, wow.
It used to be, before him, it was Vasilis Spanoulis, who's a Greek guy. He was playing for Panathinaikos and then he went to Olympiacos. So we love him, but then we hate him. So, yeah. He was a good player. I'm not gonna.
What did you do with the shirt then? So you got a
No, I didn't have. I was a.
you got a
young-
Panathinaikos shirt, and then suddenly he's like with his name on it.
Yeah,
Those fans are doing something with that shirt.
they probably burned it.
That's
There's
game.
no way,
During a
yeah.
game?
I haven't seen any videos, but I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
Wow, that to go literally
To go from one team to the other in Greece is massive.
yeah.
Like Slukas, the best player of Panathinaikos, did it this year, and there was the end of the world. Like you just don't do that. And people are just athletes. They're professional athletes. If they find something better on the other side, why not? And Spanoulis, There's a lot of theories where Spanoulis left Panathinaikos to go to Olympiacos because Panathinaikos had an empire, pretty much. 2009, again, I might be a bit biased, but the team that Panathinaikos had in 2009 is considered by a lot as the best ever EuroLeague team in the history of the
all
game.
time.
Yeah. And Spanoulis was part of that team. And then he just went to Olympiacos because he wanted to get to achieve something on his own, to start something. And Olympiacos wasn't doing that well at the time. And he just took Olympiacos and he led them to a back-to-back title. They won in 2012 and 2013.
Well, if you have any listeners out there who want to comment on what George just said and they're emotional, please email the UK basketball podcast at gmail.com and bother Mark.
Bother me, I love it.
I love it.
I want to know.
10,000 furious fans of the EuroLeague.
Saying stop butchering all of our beautiful club names. I want to know what happens in we've got the Olympics coming up this year, for example. So you've got someone from Panathinaikos, and then you've got players from Olympiacos.
The players don't have a problem between them.
No,
they're friendly. Like, they play a game, they just really go on each other as you do in a game. It's a competition. You just want to win. And then the game finishes and they're mates and they're just laughing about and everything.
I mean, that's the same everywhere, though.
Yeah,
Look at the NBA. They're coming together afterwards.
Yeah. No, I'm just curious with that because especially when it's very easy for us to say things with like the NBA because a lot of the time in the NBA, the majority of players are in the same culture. They're all American. Whereas actually, when you go in Europe, we're talking about Spanish teams, we're talking about French teams, we're talking about Greek teams. There's teams in Turkey, there's teams all over the place. You've got all these different characters and different personalities, but different cultures.
Yeah.
They're all mashing together. I know a lot of it is in brackets European, as some of the world would say.
Don't forget that a lot of these players have been playing for the EuroLeague, in the EuroLeague for quite a few years, so they know each other. Like, you won't go there and be like, "Who the hell's that?" Like, that's Ricky Rubio, or that's Rudy Fernandez, or that's Lucas, that's Spanoulis. That's they know each other because of previous years in the EuroLeague.
So do they have like a big? I'm trying to think of it in the best way possible. With all these teams that you've got, when we think of it in the NBA, we always used to think of like you having the drafts coming out and you have all the rookies and all those sort of things come in. With stuff like this, it's completely different because it's like you said, it's more like a Champions League.
Yeah,
this is all separate and elsewhere. And then just new players pop up effectively.
Yeah, there is no draft.
Nothing
like that.
No.
If you find a good player, you sign him up. Doesn't matter where he's playing before. Doesn't matter how old they are. Like Luka Doncic, he was playing for Real Madrid's
16.
academies, pretty much under 16s, and then he just went up and up and up, and then he joined the first team, and that was it. He just started playing. You don't get many 16, 17-year-olds playing in the EuroLeague, but you've seen where he is now, so you know why.
Makes sense, yeah.
And like you said, Wemby, it's the same thing, isn't it? Going into those sort of leagues.
Wemby's a bit extreme because Wemby's massive, It's the same as Giannis, for example. He's really tall, he can dribble the ball, so they've got that set of skills. Luka is not that tall or that strong, he's just playing with his head. And
I mean, he's 6'9". I wouldn't call him short.
you wouldn't call him massive though. Like,
I probably would.
For us, he would. Actually, for George, it wouldn't be.
Not for George, no, but
George should be looking down on him,
yeah.
not down, yeah.
not far up.
Yeah, but but Luca's big in a different way. he's chunkier.
Yeah.
He's like 5 Wembys.
So why no
He
Paris?
probably ate 5 Wembys.
He's gone.
Love it.
So why no Paris?
No Paris, well.
No Paris.
There's a possibility that they're going to be next year or the year after. There's a rumor. I don't know about it. Again, because the same bloke's putting money in the basketball stuff. And they've built a new stadium in Paris, which is, I think it's the biggest one in Europe, maybe the second biggest in Europe. And they're just trying to promote the game there.
And could a wild card become a regular and stay in, or would they always be a regular wild card, and then, or would they at any point go, don't worry what happens domestically or in the EuroLeague, you're in now no matter what. Would that ever happen, or is it just those franchises?
So the 12 teams that have the contract, they're there. They're members of, they own the shares of the EuroLeague, because as we said, it's a private league.
And then they're inviting 6 other teams in.
Yes. Now, whether they can give another team like full access every year, I don't know. Partizan, Belgrade, they're getting invited every year, but that's because they're the top fan-based team in the EuroLeague. The stadium is full every week, and they're spending money. They got good players. They got Zeljko Bratovic, the coach I said about earlier. He's considered the best in Europe. So it would be insane to say, no, you're not part of it, so we're not going to give you a wild card. So it goes without saying that Partizan will get a wild card, regardless of what they do in the National League.
Whether they expand or not, the shareholding teams will still be there.
Yeah, the 12 teams are there.
And also, why would they, if it's really lucrative, why are they going to give up a share of that? Just to say you're in.
I don't think there's not that much money, though, to be fair,
no?
in the EuroLeague. No. There was a point, I remember at one point, the winner of the EuroLeague was getting 2 million euros. Like, you get 2 million euros in football if you win the, I don't know, group stage game in Champions League. So it's, and you know,
or the FA Cup, I think's like $1 million or something like that, isn't it?
Probably more.
It's not as high as people think.
Still, if you want to sign a player like Panathinaikos did this year, or Kendrick Nunn, they've signed him up for 2 million. If you go all the way and win the EuroLeague, you've pretty much paid for that one player.
Yeah.
I know they get money through fans and tickets and sponsors and everything else, but that's the main argument with the teams, that throughout the years, a lot of the teams have complained about the market pool, let's say, the financial distribution of funds and everything. Like, how can you have a product like that and not, expand it, but pay the teams more, make it more attractive to the teams to invest more? Because if you have an owner that's thinking, shall I put more money in the team, shall I not? And they know that at the end of the road, even if they win, they're going to be at loss still.
Yeah.
It's a bit tricky for them. So they're working towards the right direction, the EuroLeague. They've improved a lot over the last few years. They're adapting with the NBA style of, promotions and pre-games and fun stuff and everything. Then it's not just, classic, let's go there, play basketball, that's it, let's go home situation. And from the games I'm watching with Panathinaikos, they've started redecorating their arena in Athens. Now it fits 18,500 people in there, and they've literally started remaking the stadium inside. They make it attractive. Like, people go there, and they don't just go there just to sit and watch the basketball.
Yeah, they go nuts.
Yeah, and there's entertainment. They do the thing you want to do here, but the half-court shot, they do that. That's pretty much the first team that did it in Europe. I know it's an American thing, but yeah.
That's the budgets for the teams.
This is in euros?
In euros, that's the budgets of the teams.
Yeah.
And who's number 2, Paul?
Pau.
I'm not surprised. Who's number 1? Real Madrid.
Real Madrid, 42 million euros. Pau, 35 mil.
I mean,
so funny enough, I was reading something today about that.
35 million.
I don't think they spent 35 million. I think they take into account the taxing situation, but taxing in Spain is 50%. In Greece is not that. So it's probably less than 35. But still, we're talking about significant money there.
Mm-hmm. There's some big budgets, whereas when you go down sort of towards the end.
Well, I was going to say, you were talking about English teams getting into the EuroLeague. I mean,
the disparity.
We're not getting close to 10 million.
No, we're getting nowhere near that sort of figure.
Who's the bottom on that list?
Zalgiris.
Yeah.
13 mil.
Okay.
Yeah, 13 mil to run that club. How much do you think someone like London Lions, for example, who went not into the EuroLeague, they couldn't get in that, they're in Euro Cup, its own separate thing.
I think if they keep going on their journey
Yeah.
Could they get a wild card into the EuroLeague?
Can do.
Potentially, if they're in,
Up to 32nd in the European standings.
I think what
Do you know how you get in the EuroLeague? Sorry, I just remember now. If you win the Euro Cup,
yeah.
you get a place in next year's EuroLeague. So that's how they can
There you
get.
go. Next year.
But if you say they did that, for example, if they couldn't do that, it's again based on that you said how well they do in their domestic markets. Now, in the UK market, they flatlined everyone. So some could argue, well, yeah, they potentially could go in there and represent the country, but at the same time, you go, who are they coming up against? Because then when they've gone and played European teams, they get flattened.
Yeah.
And you see, okay, well, there's weights and measures now, and there's suddenly sort of they're finding that's their ground where they've got to buy in. But the talent pool for a local league, so to speak, or domestic league, they are overspending compared to everyone else in our domestic league. Whereas so how does the Greek domestic league compare to teams like Panathinaikos?
Well, Panathinaikos and Olympiacos is a whole new section in
It's
the
its
Greek
own
league.
section.
Yeah. It's them two, and then the rest just go.
Oh, is that how it goes?
Yeah, completely. There's the last time.
Is that like the Scottish league
It's
in
probably
football?
The example I'd give you, Mark, is just like Portsmouth Fury, Southampton Eagles, and then the rest.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the last time that a different team won the championship in Greece was 2002.
Okay.
Since then, it's just Panathinaikos or Olympiacos winning the title every year.
Oh, well,
See,
that's dominance, isn't it?
I'm thinking of the Scottish football. I don't follow it that much.
You're
but
thinking Rangers,
and
Celtic, but I
because it was
think-
always used to, like historically, it was
I
there
think
for quite
there's-
a lot of time, wasn't
There's
it?
another one in
Yeah.
there, Hearts maybe. I don't know. I don't follow it,
But that used to be a thing, whether it was one of those two.
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
always going to be, everyone else was irrelevant almost. They play, but it was always one of the other teams. From memory, I mean, we're talking like 80s, 90s.
just Celtic.
No, even in the
United
2000s, I remember that
over
the Celtics and the Rangers were just. Was it the Celtics that were playing quite well for a while, and the Rangers wouldn't win anything? Or it was the other way around. I can't remember.
I think it goes up and down with those guys. Probably same as with your teams.
Yeah.
And I think it was. You know what? Yes. So there was. I do not know what I'm about to say. I don't know the detail, but it was something like Rangers did something questionable in the market, and it went to the other teams in the Premier League to go, should they be docked points? Should they be relegated, not just out of the Premier League, but relegated like 4 divisions down? I'd love to be at that table and be a fly on the wall when it got round to Celtic and like, Celtic, what's your vote? Do you want them out of the league? Yes. For 4 years, yes. Yeah.
We can make it even 5.
Do you want the... Yeah.
They said the club rivalry is that the clubs had won 108. One had won 108 games, or one had won 109 games, and there was a whole thing, and there was the original firm. It was just those two in Scottish. That's the whole base history.
But Rangers got relegated for 4 seasons, and then they won like 4 years in a row to get back to the Premiership, and then you had the challenge back on again.
Yeah.
But I think there's a third team in there now. But
Okay.
anyway,
But-
this is a basketball show,
I
Mark.
know. Yeah, I'm not interested in that. I was just looking at it, that when you've got that such dominance, because I'm just trying to relate it back to the people who listen, who follow the BBL, so they're not familiar necessarily with having multiple teams in that sort of position. They've only can relate to one team just being completely dominant. And then what we saw in the league was it between second and probably third and 7th or 8th, there was like 2 points difference. And they would just almost be like changing like this every part of the week.
That's why what we said earlier. Every game matters. Like one win, and they even play with the points difference, because the points difference will define if you finish with the same wins at the end of the season. It depends on who won with more points on the in-between games.
So that's what they did in the in-season tournament that Paul was saying about. Because that's what the NBA did, wasn't it? Where they were trying to get these crazy scores, and you're thinking, why are you doing that? And it's like, because that's going to make a difference when it comes down to it.
That has led to a really good question, which is there's it's an unwritten rule in the NBA that you see it where they might be winning by 10 and they'll just start bouncing the ball out. And if you see a player shoot or do something, it kicks off. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
I'm assuming that does not happen in the EuroLeague then.
It does, but it depends on who you're playing against.
Oh,
So if you're playing against a team that you know is not going to compete at the end of the season, like you can tell, unless it's game one of regular season, you don't know, what that team's going to end up with.
thank you very much for listening to this episode. That is the end of this part, but do not worry, because coming soon is the second part of this episode, and it will be available soon.